I think this is an exciting time. You're gonna work for a president that's gonna put America first. He's gonna succeed peace through strength. So we're gonna be respected again. So I think you're gonna be serving at a historic time. Mr. Helberg, you're often at the forefront of cutting-edge technology and understanding its implications on our national security here at home. Given your background, I think you'll make a great addition to the State Department. As you prepare for the job, what would you say is the biggest threat the United States or allies face? Specifically, which countries and what risks do these countries pose?
Thank you very much, Senator, and thank you for taking the time to meet and lead up to this hearing. The biggest economic security threat to our country is, without any hesitation, our industrial over-reliance on communist China. They are currently instating export controls of rare earth magnets on Europe and the United States, which is already taking a toll on the global automobile industry, as well as other industries. As someone who worked in the private sector, I know that private companies are often very reluctant to come out publicly saying when they are negatively impacted by these types of policy decisions because they're afraid of bad PR, but these types of policy decisions really do sting. We are 90% reliant on Taiwan for semiconductors, 90% reliant on China for rare earth minerals, 70% reliant on China for cell phones, tablets, and drone production. That is not sustainable. And therefore, the E family will be entirely committed to developing a whole-of-government approach to securing our supply chains. And that will ultimately be the overarching policy framework through which we will engage with our partners and allies overseas.
Thank you. Mr. Positor, while I wish the European Union well, it's become increasingly apparent that it's a broken system and compensates for its struggles to create wealth and prosperity with redistribution and over-regulations. It's a large reason the United States managed to have a much better relationship with individual countries over the European Union headquarters. Given your expertise in the private sector with economic growth, what do you think about the EU strategy and how should this shape our relationship with the EU going forward?
Thank you, Senator. Great question. I think as President Trump has made clear, the European Union needs to walk back its overregulation, its red tape, its retaliatory taxes that damage American companies. So there's a lot of work to be done, but the Europeans know that. There's a Draghi report, who's the former prime minister of Italy, that came out and said that, in fact, overregulation is killing competitiveness. It's killing the economy in the European Union. In fact, their GDP was slightly larger than that of the United States back in 2008. It's already, and that was including the UK, who was a member of the EU back then. Including the UK today, they're 30% lower than we are. Take the UK out, they're 50% lower than we are today. So they need to make changes, and they know they need to make changes. There are advantages, however, to dealing with the European Union as opposed to individual states, because many of those individual states have conceded part of their sovereignty to the Union, including, for example, on trade, on tariffs, on sanctions. So American businesses need to deal with the European Union and the individual states. And there is some comfort in dealing with the Union because American companies know how to deal with the European Union. If you look at the states, for example, in the Balkans, where we've got a number of states that are trying to get into the EU, but they're not there yet. To get in, they're going to have to bring their legal systems in compliance with EU standards, and they're going to have to reduce corruption. And I think both of those things are also an advantage to the United States. If you look at, for example, Croatia, which entered the EU in 2013, since they entered, our exports to Croatia have increased, I think they've tripled since they entered. So there are advantages. Clearly, there are problems with the EU. I know it, they need to address them, but there are reasons to deal with them nonetheless.
Thank you. Mr. Kapoor, so tell us what would you like to accomplish with Pakistan?
Senator, thank you for the question. As I mentioned in my opening statement, I think there are a number of areas where we could cooperate with Pakistan in the security realm. I think there will be instances where counterterrorism cooperation would be useful. We can also build out our relationship away from a sort of a myopic focus on security in the direction of trade and investment. And I know there are some opportunities there in critical minerals as well. So I think those are areas